Hello, everyone. This is Diane Hinchcliffe, VP and Principal Analyst at Constellation Research, and I'm joined by PJ Menon. PJ, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Certainly. My name is PG Menon. I'm Senior Director of Product Marketing for the networking products at Infoblox. Infoblox is a core network services vendor. We are the market share leader and based out of Santa Clara in California.
Fantastic. So, PJ, we were talking about some interesting subjects just before we got on here. Cloud native is perhaps one of the biggest trends in the industry right now. Is that a good place for us to dive in?
Absolutely. I think cloud native is now gaining a lot of exposure. It's nothing new. It's been around for a while, but the benefits are far more evident today more than ever. So absolutely, it's a hot topic.
Well, I see that, we look at the different providers of cloud, and, the Cloud Native Computing Foundation has really created, I think, done a great service to the industry in really highlighting and creating attention for what this is. So I think when you talk to IT departments, Cloud Native is on their radar for sure. They realize that's where the skills are going to be. That if they want to have modern architectures, that they should be as cloud native as possible. And some of the older cloud providers aren't fully there yet, you could argue. And certainly containerization is something that I think IT has accepted. They have to build up the skills. I still hear from CIOs that they're worried about the availability of Kubernetes and if a mere mortal can actually do it. But the writing's on the wall. 2021, I think, will be the first year where cloud native is mandatory, I think, in the average IT shop. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the word cloud has been around for a while, and over the years, it has matured in many ways. And there's actually a cloud maturity model that people talk about. You can be cloud ready, you can be cloud friendly, you can be cloud resilient. But at the end of the day, to derive the full benefits of cloud, you have to be cloud native. And I can go into a little bit of detail here, what that means. When we first started cloud migration many years ago, people were taking whatever they had and just moving it lock, stock, and barrel to the cloud. And that makes it cloud friendly or cloud ready. It doesn't make it cloud native. A lot of the applications that move from on-prem to off-prem doesn't really give you all the benefits of cloud native. To be truly cloud native, you have to be born in the cloud, so to speak. You have to develop with cloud native principles, and that's really the key here. You mentioned microservices architecture, containerization. These are very important aspects of building a cloud native app, because that's when you get the benefits of full cloud native, the mixing and matching of functions that you need, the right sizing of exactly what you need, the SaaS consumption model. These are some of the basic benefits that you can get when you go cloud native.
Well, and a lot of vendors, as you were alluding to, we're doing essentially what's called cloud washing, and taking the legacy offerings that they had and said that they can be used in the cloud. And I think that is very different from cloud native. And I think things like security, which has become so important in today's cloud world, you have to know that as you are, become more hybrid cloud, or you are really investing in public cloud, you have to know that what you're building is security first. And I think that what's nice about the cloud native architectures is that they take security as they treat it as a first-class citizen, as important as everything else. And I think that's one of the other big advantages that we see from the approach, that I think that the average organization would see benefits from day one.
Day one, exactly. And a lot of people, that's a nuance that a lot of people miss about the whole notion of the DevSecOps. So, we started off with things called DevOps, and then you had SecOps, which is separate, where DevOps would make deployment of apps easy. SecOps would watch out for cyber threats. And lo and behold, we get to what we call DevSecOps. And the whole notion of DevSecOps is exactly as you mentioned. Build security into the apps. Don't make it a bolt-on like it used to be in the past. And that's when you can take what you have and truly move to the next level, which is cloud ops, where you're doing all of these things, but functioning in the cloud for the best possible outcome for both the developers as well as the customers. So that maturity model is really part of growing up in the cloud world.
Yeah, and I totally see with the IT departments that I talk with that they're trying to move to DevOps, and the more advanced ones obviously are trying to get all three groups into a smooth, seamless collaboration, so that you have this continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous security. Everyone is on the same page. Feedback is going from each group back to the other groups. But how do you do that well? I mean, I still see a lot of organizations feel like they have three groups that kind of work together. Is this something that you enable with tools? Is it something you enable with a platform? How do you make DevSecOps work?
Yeah, I think that's a key hurdle, or an important hurdle that a lot of people find a lot of trouble crossing is, look, if you want to be truly cloud native, you have to modernize across the board. People think that you can take pieces, just the cloud pieces, put it together and leave the rest the way it is. It doesn't work that way. It has to be across the board. And the reason for that is because, as you pointed out, most companies, they have a traditional infrastructure that you cannot throw away. And you need to bridge between traditional and modern. You need to bridge the legacy to the modern. And that's where these modern tools they come in. So while you're modernizing your applications and moving into the cloud, trying to hold on to the legacy because you cannot throw it away, the way you bridge them all together is by using modern tools, because the tools are exactly built for that. Let's tie the two together so you don't lose something that you built over the last 20, 30, 40 years just because you want to start over again in the cloud. That doesn't work. Because your customers are going to be pretty upset if you say, no, turn that down and let's start over in the cloud. So it's really the modern tools that help you bridge that creates that bridge between modern and legacy.
So the discipline that makes it work is an IT organization that wants to commit to DevSecOps and cloud native together, because I agree with you, they fit together, they belong together. The DevSecOps process works really well with the cloud native approach. Make sure they have a common DevSecOps environment, and make sure those three groups are in there working together. Is it that simple?
I think the integration of the teams is important. The picking of the tools is important. And last but not least, it's about working with the right partner, because there are a lot of vendors out there. There's a part of this journey, if you will. I don't want to, people call it transformation. People started calling it migration, then they call it transformation. But to me, it's a journey, because you have to click through the maturity models all the way to the top level, to be truly cloud native. And you need a trusted partner to hold your hand and walk you through, because it's the complexity about it. No one company has all the expertise to do everything. You need to work in an ecosystem. So you want to, very often you want to bring best of breed technologies. You want to tie it together with the ecosystem, a broad integration system with the ecosystem, because ultimately most organizations just want to get the business done. IT is something that enables business. IT is not their business. And we have professional services, we have professionals here who can come in and help you achieve your business goals rather than you spending all the time connecting the wires. So this journey really starts off by working with the right partners, ensuring that your partner has a broad ecosystem with which the technologies integrate, and they ultimately deliver you the business value that you want out of this whole journey towards cloud native.
Well, and I'm seeing just that. I did a CIO survey just over a year ago, where CIOs, 94% of CIOs said they're under strong or very strong pressure to move faster. And so they want things like DevSecOps, which arguably really shortens the time from development to getting a capable product or capable solution fielded. but they don't have time to make all the mistakes themselves, as you were pointing out. The climb that maturity curve takes time. As they go down there and say, well, how can we get there faster? And so I see most organizations are working with cloud partners. They're not necessarily working with the cloud vendors themselves who don't offer that capabilities, but they have cloud partners who have that maturity, already have people who are capable of instilling those processes in another organization. And they can shave years off of that maturity curve by transplanting that directly into another organization. Is that what you're seeing as the shortest route to being successful with DevSecOps and cloud native?
That's exactly what I'm seeing and what we're seeing in the market. Today, the pressure is on, right? COVID has sent everybody home. Things are being highly distributed. Most of the organizations that we talk to are saying, look, we have to change the way we work. It's we've got to change the way we work. Workplace transformation, workforce transformation, whatever you want to call it. They are actively turning off or eliminating some of their leases in their offices. It's cut down. People are
a lot of tech companies are saying, just if you want to stay home, you never have to come to work again. So we live in a different world.
Yeah. I was talking to an ad tech company a couple of weeks ago. They're growing worldwide. There's an ad boom going on for whatever reason, for the obvious reasons, of course. And they're saying, we don't have any offices in all these places that we want to grow, and we just rent space. And we want to make sure that all those remote locations can have direct access to the internet. I don't want them backhauling back to my headquarters and then trying to go to the internet, because I want them to settle the ads and move on and be quick. So what the pandemic has done is really accelerated the need to modernize more quickly. Now, with speed comes the risk of making mistakes, and this is really where some of the top expertise need to come in and help with the business. Look, if you're an organization, you know your business, and we won't tell you how to run your business, but we have people who can help you pick the right tools and help you modernize, help you speed up that modernization so you can grow and protect it.
As you said, there's practices you can put in place, continuous integration and continuous testing, ensure that you find those issues very quickly in your DevSecOps work streams, right? So but setting all that up and getting it working is not something you want to figure out while there's all this urgency and pressure to deliver. But PJ, I have a question. So we have to have this combination, as you mentioned, of our existing legacy systems. And our organizations have been building up IT for 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years in some cases. And they want to start going cloud native. So how can they do DevSecOps with that kind of that hybrid combination? Do new development in cloud native and bring along their legacy capabilities? Will that work in DevSecOps?
Absolutely. And here again, is the tools that come in. You pick the right tools, and they can help you maximize your existing investment while modernizing all the things that you need to modernize. So the whole approach here, it's a change in mindset, really. When you look at DevOps or DevSecOps, that's a change in philosophy, right? It's a philosophy of how you come together early on. In the old days, if you remember, continuous improvement, right? I think it was Deming who came with that. People, you change the way you think. You don't look at cars after they're built. You look at improving while things are being built. And the whole notion there was, he didn't bring automotive engineers. He brought a bunch of statisticians to help continuous improvement. Similarly, with this new cloud native, you have to bring a whole different set of expertise to come in and be able to work together, be able to work in a way that can tie the tools together, that can help you bridge that gap. So it is that mindset that, and the expertise. Make sure you bring in the right expertise, which would be the calling in this case.
So PJ, so let's say I'm a CIO, and I've bought in. I've been experimenting around the edges, but I know this is the future, but now I'm really committed to migrating, 10% of my IT per year. I'm actually seeing this happening out there, or they're looking for how do I do this at scale? How do I train my staff, build the infrastructures, get the processes? So if I was a CIO asking you, how do I get started doing this? If I'm going to go big, what does that process look like?
Yeah. So as with most things, when you're going big, you need to make sure you start off with the right foundation. There are certain foundational elements in this that need to be considered. Core network services is one of those, and all it says is, look, you need to know who's on your network and where they're going. That's job number one. Once you have that pervasive visibility, now you can start building on that, how to improve upon it, how to give them, how to enforce the right policy.
Get your foundation right so that it can support DevSecOps and cloud native.
Exactly.
Is that right?
That's exactly, yeah. And what's key here is that foundation is not just about let's put that foundation in the data center. Let's put that foundation in the cloud. It has to be a common foundation that extends from your data center to your branch to your cloud. And once you lay that foundation, now you make things a lot easier. You can see that road from going, that connects your data center, your branch offices, and all your cloud properties. Once you have that, now you can set up whatever links you need, whatever groups you need to, DevSecOps can have you have a common language. You're working off of common data. You agree on who's on the network and what they're supposed to do when something goes wrong.
Well, and that's a good point. So, if I'm still that CIO, I also have my CISO whispering in my ear that I have to be zero trust. How does that fit into that foundation?
Exactly, and the notion of zero trust is really what's driving this common foundation to say nobody can be trusted, which means everybody starts off at ground zero. And when you start at ground zero, you need to know who's all there and what kind of policies do they need. Doesn't matter whether they're going to the cloud or they're working from branch, and you can set that up because you now have that visibility. You now have the common ground off of which to build the policy. You know who's on the network, you know where they've been and where they're going. You need to know that.
I would argue that this transition to DevSecOps and cloud native is the ideal time while you're making this shift to put zero trust in place from day zero. I think that's
exactly right.
Great opportunity.
This is the time for you to lay that foundation and lay that philosophy about zero trust, and the world will be a lot simpler. It is a complex world out there, but let's start with some of the basics and make life easier for yourself,
So last question. So I'm building this foundation, and I've got all these strong pieces, and I'm going to go slow for just a little bit so I can go fast later. I have everyone trying to sell me these giant platforms that do everything, but I think a lot of organizations want to adopt best of breed, and they can sense now that maybe best of breed is within grasp, so that they can build off of the best pieces in the industry. Is now the time to do that? Is this approach support that best of breed approach?
Absolutely. I think best of breed is important because you need to be able to count on something when you need it. This is a zero trust world. We have to count, you need to be able to count on everything that you're putting in place. Best of breed is not just about technology. It's also about the integrations that are being offered. So you're not working alone. You are not the person to be cobbling things together. Best of breed in today's world means not only do you offer the right technologies, but you offer the right integrations. So the customer gets the whole solution rather than a piece of technology here, a piece of technology there, and then you try to connect together. Sometimes they don't fit. That's not the answer. The answer is to choose best of breed and expand out from just the feature functionality to the ecosystem that that vendor or that particular tool brings to the table.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. All right, well, PJ, you've been a fountain of knowledge on this. How does, if someone wants to work with you guys and going down this route, where do they find you?
Oh, please come to www.infoblocks.com. infoblox.com.
Excellent.
As it says on my shirt right here.
Yeah, I see that. Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Hey, Diane, that was great. Appreciate your time. Thank you.